Good evening, you're welcome. So now is the time for the link. My name is Malcolm Sime, and we also know that Bank of Uganda this week licensed the first Islamic banking financial institution, ending a wait of more than 20 years. The move means that Ugandans will now operate a hybrid banking system through which customers will be able to access both conventional and Islamic banking products. To further discuss this and make us understand is Dr. Luja Sulaiman. He's the manager Islamic Banking at the Microfinance Support Center. You're very welcome, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you, Malcolm.
I know that globally Islamic banking is very popular. I think the last I checked, with assets of over $2 trillion US, sure. and I think 2.7 trillion US dollars, and part of that, about 2 trillion or so, Islamic finance, you know, and I know that it also has products, microfinance, insurance, all sorts of insurance products and etc. But it's not been very popular here. Perhaps maybe even popular among Muslims, but not popular among non-Muslims, who up to today have different perceptions that it is perhaps a product tailored for or preserved for only Muslims. So thank you very much for coming to make us understand now that this product is here and that the central bank has approved Islamic banking. You can talk to us, give us a brief background, and I know that the Microfinance Support Center, as we've been discussing, has been having this product for quite a long time, and most Ugandans did not know how it works. So give us a brief background of Islamic banking in Uganda and what the Microfinance Support Center has been doing to popularize it.
Thank you, Malcolm. This discussion of Islamic banking is as old as Islam. It is very old, the subject of Islamic banking. It is banking which is following the guidelines of Sharia. You know, Sharia or Islam is a complete way of life. It talks about even business, commerce, and transactions. So we are doing the same banking, financial intermediation. We are solving problems of the wananchi, the people, especially at the Microfinance Support Center, who come up in groups and are ready to not deal in interest. They just come, they want real economic services, buying and selling of products, instead of speculation and conventional financing. Yes.
Well, but then, okay, tell us now, how does it work? How does Islamic banking work? Because I know that banks lend you money and they lend you depositors money. And as they lend you depositors money, they attach interest on that money. So when you bring back that money, you pay that money with interest. So ideally, that's how banks make money.
Sure.
But in Islamic banking, we are meant to understand that the religion, the law, the rules of Sharia do not allow you to make profit on that. So how does it work exactly?
Okay, you see, we are aware that when a customer comes to a bank, he has a desire he wants to fulfill. For example, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a house, you want to buy land. So what we shall do if we go for debt-based products, we shall have to buy you that land, and we sell the land to you. That is what we call real economic activity. We don't charge interest. When we say we don't charge interest, we have to engage in the real business you want to do. We want to engage in the business you want. For example, you want to buy a car. We buy the car and we sell the car to you. We put a markup. That is the profit. There is a difference between interest and profit. For interest, they were giving you money and you go and you do any business you want to do. And that's why the interest rates you are paying, they can keep on changing relative to what the central bank rate is at the central bank. Now for Islamic banking, when we buy and you sell you the commodity, we put a markup on that cost. That cost or that markup will never change throughout the financing period. That is the difference between the two. We are still doing financial intermediation. We are still responding to the requirements of the customers. That is financial requirements. I mean, they want 100 million, you're going to get 100 million. Only that it's going to be buy and sell. We shall buy and we shall sell you the commodity. In essence, we are doing the same purpose.
That's what it's called in Islam. At this time, I think I was reading about Islamic Bank. It's called
markup.
Markup.
Yes.
In Islam, in Arabic.
Yes, it is different from interest. For interest, this is it cannot be ascertained. It cannot be ascertained upfront when we are talking about lending you money. But for markup, we shall say that I've bought 100 million, I'm selling you 100, and my markup will be, for example, 20%. So it shall be determined, and there is no way I can change it. You'll get a financing of 100 million, and you pay back 120. It will never change, like in conventional. Because in conventional, when you default, interest will keep on compounding and compounding.
So in other words, people are paying... in other words, you can pay interest when you take up an Islamic banking product.
You pay profit, not interest.
You pay profit, not interest.
Profit. There is a difference between interest and profit.
Let's now dive into the hidden costs of Islamic finance. What are the hidden costs? What must I know beyond that markup that you're talking about?
You should just know that this is not free money. Of course, we have shareholders, and we have depositors, people who have deposited that money. They need a return. They're expecting a return. So at the end of the day, we have to make some money, but which is in compliance with the principles of Sharia. Principles of Sharia are saying there should not be ambiguity or uncertainty. So if I charge you interest, it is uncertainty, excessive uncertainty. But for profit, I can determine it. It is well known, and you have to earn it when you make business.
Okay. So, we have a lot of people looking for money. That's capital is very scarce and becoming very, very expensive. Let's talk about inflationary pressures then. If in the event that inflation goes up, what happens? Because I know you may have... your investors could have given you this money at a time when inflation was low, and now you come today, we have global shocks and here and there in different countries, and Africa is being hit hard. African banks are struggling to tighten and make sure that they maintain stability in their financial systems. So how does Islamic banking then accommodate that if inflation goes up, do we come back now to the Sharia and say, what you told me 20% is 20%, nothing changes?
In fact, this marks the difference between Islamic banking and conventional banking. What brings about those shocks, the financial depression, economic depression in the world, were brought about by conventional lending system, whereby people were taking debt and interest was accumulating, compounding and compounding after compounding. For Islamic banking, even though there is inflation, the pricing will never change. It will remain, for example, 10 million, it has to be 10 million all the time, irrespective of whether there is inflation, whether there is depression, because you have sold. If I sell you a car, we determine the price today, that the price is going to be, for example, 120 million. If there is inflation, I cannot come after 1 year and say I am changing the price.
Thank you very much. What projects can tap into this sort of financing? Of
course, asset financing. People are in need of buying cars. People are in need of buying land. Farmers, they need tractors. They can come for Islamic banking. It is very good for those people who want physical items and an item which you can identify. So it will be easier for a bank to go and purchase it from the supplier, then sell it to you at a markup.
Wow, that's interesting. All right then, so is it possible for someone to come to the Microfinance Support Center as we leave this program and ask more about Islamic banking? Where do they come? And is it a product for everyone? Should Ugandans now start storming Microfinance Support Center? And also know where the bank is. What relationship do you have with the bank, by the way?
Of course, let me start with Microfinance Support Center. This is a government agency. Which is mandated to extend affordable financing to people who are in a kind of setting of groups who are in cooperatives who have made circles. Government is reaching out to the general public through groups. That is what we are doing. We are financing. We also have this window for Islamic. So the kind of people we accommodate are those people who are in groups, who are in cooperatives, not individuals, SMEs. We are going slow on SMEs. Earlier we are doing it, but now we are going slow. We are going slow on that. We are going back to our roots of financing circles. Government has been flexible, and it has opened its doors for even commercial banks to come and engage in this sector, Islamic banking business, which is good for the general public and good for the banking sector. So those individual customers and SMEs, now the doors are open. They can go to the Salam
How
Bank.
much in assets are we holding as we live at Microfinance Support Center? How much of the portfolio in Islamic Banking Bank?
Of course, we have hit around 100 billion now. We are towards 100 billion. We have financed, but the problem was people have not coped up well with cooperatives and circles. We call upon Ugandans to go into groups, because this is where you can get money even without collateral. Government is financing people who are in groups and circles without capital to the tune of 50 million. You cannot find that in the bank.
Sulaiman Roja, the manager Islamic Banking at the Microfinance Support Center, thank you very much for joining us on the link. We'll definitely come back to you very many times to make sure that we understand the product. So now you can go. And Islamic Banking has been here for a very long time. It's not just Salam Bank. Microfinance Support Center will advise you on how to invest if you have money to buy those products. That's the link.